why I feel the need to have a southern accent when I'm Tony Stark. Well, I do declare. It just came out for some reason. I'm not doing it right now, obviously, but I just kept doing clips of this with a southern accent. In my Tony Stark, yeah, with my Iron Man chest on. Pardon that, because I'm pretty sure he's from New York or LA, one of the two. I should probably look that up. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I'm sorry if I'm really wrong on that. I probably should have done my hand too, so it would look like I was ready to shoot you, but I like stroking my imaginary beard, but then it gets all over my fingers. So I'm gonna get right to it. Here we go.
So to start off this look, I'm doing the Tony Stark face first. I'm using Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Contour Kit. The first color I'm using is chocolate to do all of the darkest shading and contour to make my face look more masculine and more like Tony Stark. It's going to look a little ridiculous in the beginning because you're just drawing lines on your face in all the places that I see the most shadow. I'm changing the shape of my nose. He has more of a ball nose and a thinner nose. I'm making my eyes look more sunken in and my brow ridge more defined. I'm going in with Banana as well, which is the lighter color, and this I'm using to highlight wherever I see the biggest highlights on my skin. Prior to this, I obviously put on some primer and a base foundation. I just use MAC's cream face and body foundation. It's very creamy and soft and light. And so obviously you look a little ridiculous right now, sort of like a tiger. And as soon as you have all your lines in, then you go in with a big fluffy brush and you blend it all in. Don't move it around too much because then all your lines will be useless, just disappear. You kind of want to dab and smush around a little bit. Now I look a little bit more masculine, a little bit older. This will be a little bit different per person depending on the shape of your face, but I have very round cheeks, so I needed to really contour my cheeks. Then I went in with a little bit of eyeshadow and a cold dark brown eyeshadow from my Morphe 35C palette to sort of make certain areas stand out more and darken other areas. Then I was shading around my eyes, make them look more sunken in. Underneath my eyes, give myself a little bit of bags and a little bit of wrinkles underneath my eyes as well. I also gave myself some wrinkles in my forehead with these lines. You don't want them to be too harsh, so I do blend them in a little bit. Also went in on my eyebrows to make them a little bit fluffier, but he still has really defined eyebrows and nice arches, so you don't want to go too crazy and making them too big. You can see what I'm doing better than I can explain here. It's just adding lines, blending, adding lines, blending. I have very thin, light eyebrows, so I had to really use a dark color to make them stand out. Now I'm going on the chin where the goatee is going to be. I'm shading around where I see shadows first and a little bit of highlight, and then I'm going to go in with the same cold dark brown, and there's some highlights, with the same cold dark brown eyeshadow to completely outline and fill in where my goatee is going to be. And then on top of that, I will put paint on a sponge to do the detail to make it look a little bit more like stubble and brushes. So you want the dark color first underneath, and then I'm using dark brown from Mehron's face paint and just a little sponge with water to make it have a prickly look. But first I am going in here, as you can see, with the brush and the eyeshadow. I'm just using a reference photo from Google of Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, to do all of these shapes. You can see the brush, the sponge with the paint really stands out a lot more and makes it a lot more defined and darker and everything. Last minute little additions of highlights and shadows. You can also blend with your finger, it's pretty easy. Now that my Tony Stark face is done, I'm going to be doing my Iron Man chest. First thing I'm doing is using Beach Berry of Mehron's body paint to cover my entire chest in red. It's the lightest color, so it's sort of like a highlight for the rest of the... I also missed my little chest piece in the middle, so I just used makeup remover to take that off. Now that I have the entire chest red, I'm going in with black and outlining everything that I see in terms of the different plates and pieces and parts of the Iron Man chest. Once that's entirely outlined, I'm going in with red, Mehron's red, to add dark and shadows wherever I see it on the reference photo, using my fingers to blend in as much as possible. You want this to stay pretty simple because it's metal and it's supposed to be kind of flat. I mean, obviously it has to be 3D, but you want the pieces to look like they're a piece of metal instead of fabric. So there isn't too much detail with this entire chest. It's more of black detail outlines and then blending a lot with your finger. I also went in with white to add the highlights. As you can see, every time I put a color on, I use my finger and blend it all in. Obviously, you can do this the opposite way that I decided. I don't know why, but I decided that the under part I would have it be a brighter color and the top pieces would be red. I guess you could do it the complete opposite and it would make a lot more sense to have the underneath a bit darker and the top pieces a bit brighter, but I ended up liking how this looked, so you can go with what I did or you can flip-flop the colors. Now I'm doing the source of the power thing, I forgot the name of it. I'm using light blue and white, give it more of a brighter, luminescent kind of color. Arc reactor, that's what it's called, yes. I tried to make it as round as possible, but I did not use any stenciling, so my lines are not perfectly straight and my circle is not perfectly round. It's up to you if you want it to be perfect or not. I was okay with it not being perfect. And now I'm using some Sugar Pill Love Plus and Mehron's Morphe Brushes 35C palette with some eyeshadows to add shading and sort of a more solid color. The darker sort of maroon color is really helping me add a lot of shading and shadow. So around each piece, on the lighter color underneath, I am doing shading to sort of make everything pop. Again, you can see what I'm doing a lot better than I can explain here. And lastly, I'm going back in with black to outline every line that I had done previously to really make them pop out and stand out where they had maybe gotten a bit of red or white on them and sort of disappeared again. And there you go. There's your Iron Man chest to go with your Tony Stark face. Thank you for watching.